my favorite epics to build out for maximum progression. Let's go check them out. Hey there guys, it's Ryan Raids and welcome to the video. Guys, I hope you have an amazing day playing our favorite game, Raid Shadow Legends. So a few days ago I put a video out going through top 10 hardest hitting epic champions in the entire game, and we went off the Hell Hades sort of rating system per skill. So what we'll do in this video, we're going to do my favorite epic champions who has helped me progress through the game and who I personally think everyone should build out. There's no right or wrong answer to this, it's just what epics I've had who has massively helped my account as I progress throughout the game. So yeah, let's dive straight into it. So first off, yesterday, new account launched. We launched it yesterday and we put out the first video yesterday, so go check it out if you want to have a little look at that. So I put a poll out on where we should go with the account because I did a poll about 3 weeks ago and it come out as a new free-to-play series. Well, I've already got a free-to-play account and that is going pretty well, and I'm really determined to do well in that in live arena PvP for that free-to-play account. I'm going to work extremely hard to get good at live arena on that free-to-play account. So my idea around this new account is to have a monthly limited spend account. So we'll decide how much per month a bit further down the line. So we could have just a standard account where you can use everything, and then we'll set a monthly budget, and then we could have a void only monthly spend account with again another set budget per month, or we can have an epic and rare only champions monthly spend account. And what I want to do is we'll set a certain amount to spend per month on this account, and I'm going to compare it how well it does with a monthly spend compared to my free to play. I'll see if it like sort of excels past it, if it makes that much a difference spending a certain amount in game. Obviously if you spend thousands it would, I know that, but whether you're spending like 20 quid a month, 30 quid a month, 50 quid a month, 80 quid a month, 100, whether how much of a difference it makes compared to a free to play player. So that's sort of my idea around it. So yeah, come and get involved in this poll and let me know which format you want to see this new account in. So yeah, we put out the video yesterday, we started it yesterday, and I'll do like 2 videos a week updating that account for now, and we'll see how that runs. Right then, let's get on with what we're supposed to be doing. So this is in no specific order, this is just random who I've had throughout the game from right at the start to up to now, who has helped my account out massively, and I think everyone should be building them out. So first up, I am going with Tagoar. I think Tagoar is massively underrated and he is an absolutely quality epic. If you watch the Hell Hades free play series, you would have seen us all using him, and he is a beast for an epic. Really enjoyed using this champion. So on his A1, attacks an enemy 2 times. He's got an increased defense 60% for 2 turns on an ally with the lowest HP. So he puts increased defense on your weakest champion at that time in point. So yeah, not a bad little A1. A2, he has got an AoE and he's got a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns, and then he's got a 15% heal off his max HP, so you can control how much healing is going out by making his HP pool even bigger. And then his A3, he's got revival dead allies with 30% HP, and he places a shield buff on all allies, which equals 20% of this champion's max HP. Again, you're in control of that. You build him with more HP, the bigger the shield, the bigger the heals. He's got a HP aura by 25% in all battles, and his passive decreases the damage received by allies with 50% HP or less by 10%. So a little bit of damage mitigation there. But yeah, a really solid epic. I used him absolutely everywhere. Used him in Clan Boss, used him in Hydra, used him on my arena team, used him in all my dungeons team. The only place I didn't use him was a campaign farmer. I was using Alice at the time. So yeah, really solid epic. Next up then, we are going for... Hold up there guys, click the link in the description right now to get the epic champion Uugo for free, as well as 2 more amazing free epics as you level up. Here are the exact steps you need to follow. Step 1, log out of Plarium Play on the PC and uninstall. Step 2, click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Step 3, launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Step 4, go to your inbox and claim your first champion. Here we go. You'll find Uugo here, as well as Tagoar and Rector Drath as you level out your account. If you've been watching the free-to-play series that I've been involved in, you will know how good these epic epics really are. Then use the promo code Supreme6 to get yourself a crazy Void Legendary in Supreme Gaelic. So get yourself an amazing start in Raid Shadow Legends by clicking on the link and following the steps. Good old Demytha, and this champion is the only champion I've actually bought shards for. I think she was a guaranteed back close to when I started the game, and I think I was a few short. I think I paid like £30 for a pack of shards to get me over line to get Demytha, and she is a solid epic. Void epic. So A1 attacks the enemy 2 times. Each hit places a shield buff for 2 turns equal to 10% of this champion's max HP on the ally with the lowest HP, except herself. So if you had her and Tagoar both in your team, I've just realized this, the person with the lowest HP would get a 10% shield of this champion's max HP, plus they would get an increased defense from Tagoar's A1 as well. So it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. And her A2 increases the duration of all ally buffs for 1 turn, then decreases the duration of all ally debuffs by a turn. So she can be used in the Wixwell, Clan Boss, Infinity Shield teams. Even though it's not as strong as what it used to be, it still does the job. I've got the same team. Also heals all allies by 2.5% of their max HP, heals by a further 2.5% for each turn added to or removed from the duration of buffs and debuffs. So I don't know, could be a decent little heal. You've got a number of debuffs and buffs out there. Then her A3, she's got a block damage buff for 1 turn. So this skill here, she could be used for unkillable comps for Clan Boss. And then she's got a 15% continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. Good little skill. And then her aura increases ally defense in all battles by 20%. So yeah, another really strong epic. Yeah, I think she was like, I'm pretty sure, no, she wasn't my first Void epic, she was my second. My first one was Genbo from they used to do like an Amazon monthly like promo code if you're signed up with Amazon. They haven't done one in a long time, but Genbo was my first Void epic champion, and she was my second. So yeah, that is Demytha. So who is next on the list? And we are going with Lady Annabelle. So this champion helps massively with Doom Tower bosses, and we're talking specifically Bommal. So if you have her geared out in regen and immortal, get a really tanky, big defense, big HP, some decent speed, she can solo every stage of Bommal, normal and hard. So yeah, she is my solo champion for Bommal. I haven't changed it since I've had her, just stuck with her the whole way. Like, why fix it if it's not already broken? You know, she does the job, and she's just got a fairly decent kit as well. So A1, attacks 1 enemy 2 times. Each hit heals this champion by 3% of their max HP. So if you got regen on, 15% heal. If you got immortal on, another 3%, so that's 18%. And then you're getting 3% of her max HP as well, so that's 21% healing every time she's taking a turn with using the A1. So it's a lot of healing. So you think 100k health, she'd have 21k healing per turn when she's using the A1. A2, AoE, has a 75%, books up to 100% chance of placing a leech for 2 turns. Also has a 100% chance of placing 30% decreased speed on targets with less than 50% turn meter. Again, good little skill, leech and decreased speed. Then the A3, she swaps HP with a target ally. If this champion's HP is equal to or higher than the target after the swap, she places a revive on death on the target. If the champion's HP is lower than the targets after the swap, places a revive on death on herself. Then also places an increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. To be fair to her, her kit is fairly decent. It's not bad. So if you pull her, I would probably build her out. She hasn't got to be used in just Bommal. You can use her in other areas as well. So her passive heals this champion by 50% of their max HP whenever an ally or enemy dies. So how this affects Bommal is whenever those bombs go off, that's an enemy dying. So she gets 50% heal every time one of those ignites. So she basically gets healed back up full health if you've got a high enough HP. So yeah, if you're looking for an answer for Bommal and you're stuck on Bommal and you end up pulling this chick, she is your answer. So next up on the list, we are sticking with an epic champion who can also solo another one of the Doom Tower bosses. And that champion is Vergis. So he was my answer for the Scarab King, which is an incredibly hard Doom Tower boss if you haven't got the right champions. So what does this geezer do? On the A1, attacks one enemy, has a 40% chance of placing a 30% reflect damage buff on a random ally for 2 turns. I suppose it's okay. So his A2 places a 15% continuous heal buff, 30% increased speed buff, and a 30% reflect damage buff on a target ally for 3 turns. And he's also got a 50% ally protection buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. And then he's got an increased defense of 60%, which he places on himself. So that is his A2. That's a really good skill on a 3-turn cooldown as well. If you pick him up really, really early, he can also be your ally protector in Clan Boss on a 3-turn cooldown, and that is basically his skills. He's then got this funky passive, so this is what helps him beat the Scarab King. So he's got a passive effect, places a shield buff on this champion equal to 10% of their max HP for 2 turns whenever this champion loses 10% or more of their max HP from a single hit. Every time that the Scarab King hits him, he'll put a shield on himself, and then when he attacks, he doesn't trigger the Scarab King's counter attack. He then has an active effect, which is on a 3-turn cooldown, and it books down to a 1 turn, places a 15% continuous heal buff on this champion for 2 turns every time their HP drops below 50%. So even in that fight, if you start getting smacked down to below 50% HP, he puts a shield on himself, and then he gets a 15% heal, continuous heal, and then he basically goes back up to full health. And then he's also got increases ally defense in dungeons by 33%. So the only problem with this guy when facing the Scarab is you've got to build him in a destroy set so he can break down the Scarab King's shield by destroying their max HP. So yeah, once you've got a decent set of destroy gear, off you go. You can go solo every single Scarab King level for both normal and hard with this guy, especially now with epic empowerment and souls. He just breezes through them easy, 1-man job. So yeah, that is Vergis. Right then, next up on the list, we are going with the mini Armarns. Basically, he's not as good as Armarns, but he's got some stuns going off. So I use this guy when I got him to help me clear out Doom Tower waves and to progress through Doom Tower. So plus he is defense based, so extremely easy to keep alive. On his A1, he attacks one enemy, has a 30% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn, books up to 40% chance. And on his A2, he's got an AoE, has a 50% chance, up to 75% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. And then he decreases the turn meters of enemies under a stun debuff by 15%. Good skill, really good skill. And then on his A3, removes all stun debuffs from all allies, then places a 60% increased defense debuff and a 25% increased resistance buff on all allies. So yeah, that's not a bad skill either, actually. I don't know, he could probably counter Armarns actually himself. If Armarns puts the stuns out, he could remove them all, but increased defense, increased resistance, and then go in and stun people himself. So his aura, he's got a 30% increased defense in faction crypts. Okay, not the greatest. And then his passive, he's immune to stun debuffs, increases the damage inflicted by all allies by 15% when attacking enemies under stun. That's not a bad little passive actually. So yeah, he could literally be an Armarn's counter, I reckon. So if anyone or Mikage, if someone stuns him, he's immune to it, clears the stuns off of your whole team, then he can go on with his own AoE stuns. He's only got a 75% chance though, so that's not the greatest, but it's okay for an epic. So yeah, he used to help me clear out waves in Doom Tower. So next up, we're going with another champion that used to help me clear out Doom Tower waves and help me progress through Doom Tower. And that champion is Stag Knight. So he's got quite a basic kit. So his A1 attacks an enemy 2 times, and he's got a 30% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns, and that books up to a 50% chance. And then he's got his AoE on his A2, 70% chance, books up to 95% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense and a 50% decreased attack debuff for 2 turns. And then with the Master Sniper, you can get that up to 100% chance. Then his passive, he's got a 50% increased accuracy buff on an ally for 1 turn each time the ally has a debuff resisted by an enemy. So that's quite handy as well. So how did he used to help me get through Doom Tower? So it's mainly this, his decreased defense, decreased attack, and I used to run him in a stun set. So whenever this was popping off, it would knock out 1 or 2 enemies in each wave at a time, and it would stun them up and allow me to get through the waves unharmed a lot of the time. So yeah, Great champion in a stun set to help you clear out any wave-based content. I think he was also in probably like my early clan boss team as well for like the decreased defense and decreased attack debuff on a 100% chance with that mastery. So yeah, he helped me a lot early all the way through to mid-game, and he probably was still in some of my teams into the late game as well, I suppose. So yeah, Stag Knight is next on the list. So where are we off to after this one? Where are we off to? We are in the Ogrin Tribes for another Void Epic. I think he was my third one I got, and he just missed out on the top 10 rankings for damage dealing epic champions, and it was this skill here is A2. Absolutely smack. Yeah, he just missed out, not far off being in the top 10. So what did this guy do? He helped me in Hydra. He was in my early Hydra team with his AoE burn. He helped me in wave-based content in Doom Tower very early on as well, because he just hits like a truck, plus his AoE burns decent as well. So what's he do? He's got his A1, attacks an enemy, has a 40% chance of placing a 25% weaken for 2 turns. This chance increases to 74% if the target is under HP burn. It's okay, I suppose. It's okay. And then he's got this one will absolutely wallop. Got attacks an enemy 2 times, heals his champion by 15% of their max HP on each crit hit, so get him 100% crit rate. Places a 50% increased attack buff on this champion for 2 turns if the target is under a HP burn. And he's got his A3. He's got an AoE, has a 100% chance of placing the HP burn for 2 turns. And then he fills his own turn meter by 15% if at least one enemy is hit with a critical hit. And then his passive increases his champion's attack and crit damage by 5% every time a HP burn debuff triggers on an enemy. It stacks up to an extra 25% attack and 25% crit damage. So in longer fights, like against Hydra for example, his attack and crit damage starts ramping up and he just does more and more damage. Yeah, he's a good little void epic, to be fair. Oh, Skraank, I do enjoy using him. I do enjoy using him. Very good indeed. Very good indeed. So, next champion, again, is going to be another Void Epic. And it is Genbo, my first ever Void Epic I had on my account. And he was my main arena nuker for some time. So, I got him free with the Amazon, I don't know what it was, loyalty program. It's like you had a promo code every month for like 4 months maybe. I can't remember exactly. But they haven't done one for a while. And he was my main arena nuker for some time because he, back 2 years ago, he used to absolutely smack with this move here is A2. Plus he's got an increased ally speed aura by 20% in arena battles, so he used to be my arena lead and he used to be my arena nuker. So his A1 attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit steals any increased attack buffs. Each hit also has a 30% chance of stealing 1 random buff. The increased attack buff steal cannot be resisted. So anyone with increased attack, he just steals it off, and then he's got another 50% chance to steal another random buff as well. And then on his A2, he got an AoE, has an 80% chance of decreasing the duration of all buffs by 1 turn. This effect cannot be resisted if it's a crit. So it goes up to 100% chance, get 100% crit rate. I can remember when I first started, like 2 years ago, Stone Skin wasn't around as crazy as it is today, but there was a lot of champions with like block damage buffs or unkillable in arena. So he should slap and then rip it off with this a lot of the time. And then his A3, he's got a place of 30% increased crit rate, 30% increased damage buff on his champion for 3 turns, and he gets an extra turn. So you go off with the A3, buff yourself up, you only got to build into 70% crit rate, and then you go straight in with the A2, and then because this is on for 3 turns, when you do use the A1, it's still there, and then you're back round to this one. And then his passive is immune to decreased attack debuffs, will ignore unkillable when attacking under increased attack. So this A2 strips off any block damage debuffs, what was around back in the day, and then his passive, if he's got increased attack, he just hits straight through unkillable as well. So yeah, he used to be a really good arena nuker for an epic back in the day. He'd probably still do you well in the early game if you picked him up early nowadays anyway, but yeah, he was my arena nuker for some time. I did enjoy working with Genbo. Very good epic damage dealer indeed. So next up then, we are heading over to the Knights Revenant, and we are going with Rector Drath. So if you've watched my original free-to-play series, she was the first champion I got with a download link, and she is still used on my account everywhere to date. She is a crazy good support epic, Rector Drath, and I literally just watched a video from Ash like 2 or 3 days ago going through a new build for Rector Drath to enhance your account even further. So it's having Rector Drath in reflex and impulse, so she's getting round to this perfect veil and continuous heal. I think she's the only epic who puts perfect veil out on all allies where there's no conditions needed. So yeah, really strong champion. So her A1 attacks one enemy. She got a 35%, books up to a 50% chance of placing a 50% decreased attack debuff for 2 turns. And she got her A2. She got a heals an ally by 20% of this champion's max HP. So again, you're in control of the healing. The higher her HP pool, the bigger the heal. Then after heals, she'll place the perfect veil on all allies for 2 turns who has full HP, and then she puts out a 15% continuous debuff for 1 turn on all allies with less than 100% HP. So yeah, really good skill. Still use her everywhere today. And then on her A3, she got a single ally revive with 60% HP and fills their turn meter by 60%, and then she puts a perfect veil on them for 3 turns. So that's a straight up 25% reduction in damage. So yeah, great kit for an epic. And then in her passive, whenever an ally under veil or perfect veil gets a turn, heals them by 10% of their max HP. Also increases the resistance of allies under veil or perfect veil by 50. So yeah, not a bad little passive there either. And her aura, she's got increased ally resistance in Doom Tower by 55. So yeah, not a bad kit for an epic. Not a bad kit at all. Even I've watched that video from Ash, and I've literally, on my free to play, I've got to go farm some decent reflex. I've got some impulse on there, and I'm going to completely rebuild my Rector Drath to have reflex and impulse, because the heals she was doing when he showcased it was absolutely nuts. She was getting like 1.8, 2.8 million healing in a battle. Yeah, it was crazy numbers. Really, really solid numbers. So yeah, Rector Drath is on my list. Right then, we're on to the final epic who's had a big impact on one of my accounts. And we're sticking with the Knight's Revenant. And it is Dawncaller Sabitha. So if you were watching the Hell Hades free-to-play challenge, most of us got Dawncaller, and she is crazy good for an epic. In my opinion, she was so good on that account. So good. I didn't pick her up on my original free-to-play. I really should have, actually. I should have. So A1, attacks an enemy, heals the ally with the lowest HP by 10% of this champion's max HP. So again, if you had her, Demytha and Tagoar on the same team, so you'd have her healing the ally with the lowest HP by 10% of this champion's max HP, what you're in control of. You then got Demytha putting a shield on the champion with the lowest HP, and then you've also got Tagoar put an increased defense on the champion with the lowest HP. And that's all on A1s. So every turn, whoever got the lowest HP, they would get all 3 of them. It's not a bad little synergy, actually. A2 places a 60% increased defense buff plus an increased attack buff for 2 turns on all allies. Puts down to a 3-turn cooldown. The A3 revives an ally with 25% HP and 100% turn meter, so they're basically going to go again, and then places, well, they're definitely going again because they also get a block damage buff 2 turns. So yeah, that's a great little revive that is. It's only single target, but I had her with Tagoar and Uugo as my 3 supports. Then I had Wukong and Alice as damage. And yeah, they were pretty solid. You had revives going off everywhere, heals going off everywhere. Uugo dropped the fence, block buffs, and then block damage. If everyone dies, she pops them all back up. This chick healing, increased defense, increased attack, block damage, revives. Yeah, going nuts. So yeah, she's a great little champion. Then on her passive, whenever this champion revives an ally, decreases the cooldown of one of this champion's skills by 1 turn. So you just hope this revive gets decreased by another turn when she revives someone. Then her aura, she got a 25% increase in HP in all battles. So yeah, I wish I picked her up on my original free-to-play. I didn't do it. I was too busy grinding out the Hell Hades challenge account at the time. And yeah, I missed it, which sucks because she's great. Really good epic. Really solid. Right then, guys, that is my list of epics, what I feel everyone should build out, who has helped my account massively. Get down in the comments and let me know any epics what has helped out your account progress, whether you're early game, mid game, or even late game. Any epics which is worth a mention. So yeah, that is everything for today's video then, guys. If you're interested in the new account, go check out the poll and vote what format you recommend it being in. Also, go check out the video if you want to, and keep tabs on what is going on over there. Anyway, that is it from me, and I will catch you in the next one.